So typically in America, you would use a resume. In Australia, it's much more common to use a CV. A lot of people use the word interchangeably, but resume actually just means, it's in French, it means summary. So resume is just a shorter version of your CV. So I recommend developing your full CV first. And then if a resume is requested, you can do resume style, which is just basically shorter. But the first page is virtually the same in both, and the CV just has an expanded version of your key duties and achievements in each role.
Yeah. So if we maybe just talk about the resume and just the one pager, how do you succinctly put all of those key work experience, maybe your degree, your skills, why you're the best candidate for the job, all into one page without making it size 8 font or something?
Yeah. So I'm going to show you an example, Kate, but it's not filled out, so it's just completely blank. Yeah. So it just gives you an idea of what sort of sections to include, and then you would kind of look at the formatting a little bit more later. So I'll share my screen with you again, if you can see that okay.
Perfect.
The most important things to include on your CV are firstly a title or a tagline. So you might have your name and then a tagline. So for me, that tagline might be, author of Get the Job You Really Want, Managing Director, People to People, Recruitment Victoria. For someone else, obviously, if you're applying for a job, you wouldn't necessarily put where you're working. You would just say Managing Director. And it just reinforces with the reader that you are at that level and that's the type of role that you're in. So then you obviously put your personal details, you've got your profile summary or career objectives. So your profile summary or career objectives should list information that is really a snapshot of you and what you're looking for. So you might end it by saying, I'm looking for a progressive, innovative company that's supportive of their employees, or something like that. So whatever's really important to you, try not to be too demanding. You can talk about that later. Something that makes them want to pick up the phone. A career summary can be good if you have a long career. So you would list your dates of employment, your titles, and your companies of employment. But if you don't have a long career, then you can launch into your full career work experience. And then you obviously need to have your qualifications listed, any awards or achievements, key skills. The reason we recommend a key skills area, apart from putting it front and center in the person's mind when they look at your first page, is that it is really important for being searchable for technology databases, applicant management systems, and the AI that search those databases will potentially rank you higher or lower depending on those keywords.
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
It's scary. Yeah, I'm happy to help a bit with how to navigate that. You list certificates or memberships to professional associations, for example, your work experience and achievements, and your referees. So that's what you would include in a CV. Here's an example. As I said, it's just a base template sort of version, just to give you a bit of an idea. You can see that, so you might have your name, managing director, then you've got your personal details. This is where you would put your objective and or professional summary. You've got your qualifications, key skills, awards and achievements, memberships, and your career summary down here. Any volunteering systems are really important to have on the front page. If that's more important for your job, pop it up the top. If you don't have lots of awards or achievements, that's absolutely fine. You can interchange that with something else, like it might be extracurricular activities. And then we get a bit further over to the details. So this is more a CV, Kate, than a resume. If you were doing a resume, it would just be this first page. But on a CV, you do go into more detail. So you'd put your position, organisation, dates of employment, including months, because the year is not enough. It doesn't show us the duration of the job. You might have just been there a month and written 2019, and that's not really a year, is it? So we just have to make sure we have that clarity. You give a brief description of the organisation, your key responsibilities. And one of the most important things to do when you're listing key responsibilities is to list key responsibilities in proactive language with outcome-focused language. So an example would be, let's say you've been in a retail job, one way you could say the key duties would be closing the till, dealing with customers, and moving clothes around.
Yeah.
A more proactive way to say it would be, responsibility for closing the till and reconciling finances, is providing a high level of customer service, so that's outcome-focused language, and effective merchandising for sell-through or whatever it was, but it's more outcome-focused language. And then the most important thing is that you articulate your achievements. So we often see people list their duties and responsibilities, but not the key achievements, and that's really what we want to see on a CV is your key achievements. And it's better when you use data and qualify and quantify and timeframes. So just to dig into the achievement side of it, with the achievements, you want to say things like, let's say you're in an HR role, for example. You don't want to say improved employee turnover. You want to say improved employee turnover from 30% to 18% within a 12-month period by doing X, Y, Z. That's the achievement. So it's just kind of qualifying and quantifying that in a little bit more detail.
So really getting specific so the employer can actually really understand you and what you did, rather than just a few sort of generic terms that anyone could write, but they won't know what does that actually mean.
That's right. And, particularly in areas like finance, for example, you want to qualify and quantify that. So you wouldn't just say, invoicing high volume during a large project. You would say processing over X number of invoices per day or per week for XYZ type project. And this resulted in, the project being delivered on time or whatever the outcome was. So it's very much about qualifying, quantifying, and articulating the outcome.